Hello, everyone. A very good afternoon to all of you. I am Meenakshi Shekhawat, welcoming you all on behalf of Solar Quarter and First View Group to our today's virtual conference, PV Mounting Tech, Structure and Tracker Technology Forum, Middle East. Thank you all the attendees for joining us today. I hope all the attendees had a great time networking with your peers in our networking tables. We all have that networking session after the panel discussion as well. Now I take the pleasure to thank our platinum sponsors, Alex Form, Clenergy, and Stroller, for extending their immense support to organize this event. So now we'll be playing our sponsor videos. facing a little bit of technical issue. We are getting back with our two other sponsor videos. So the issue with our sponsor promo videos. Please hold. Now we have our first presentation by Mr. Sameer Jacob by Clenergy. Mr. Sameer, you can go ahead with your presentation. Attendees, allow us some time. We are trying to fix Mr. Sameer's presentation snag. Give us a moment.
Hi there, Minaki. Can you hear me now?
Yes, Sameer, you're audible.
Okay, great. Okay, we'll get started. So I'll share my screen. Go. Okay. Cool. Can you see that there?
Yes, Sameer, we can.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, Meenakshi. Really appreciate the Solar Quarter team for hosting us today. My name is Sameer Jacob. I'm the Global Marketing Manager with Clenergy. I'll be looking after the first presentation today, and you'll also get to meet one of my colleagues, Douglas Lee, who's the Regional Manager for the MENA region in the panel discussion. So question is, who is Clenergy? Well, a part of our mission is to, regardless of whatever we create, whether it's solar mounting gear or cable management systems, whatever it may be, our core mission is to be that enabler for governments, the public sector, enterprises to reach carbon neutrality. So whether it's mechanical mounting gear tomorrow with electronic products, all servicing the solar and a clean energy powered future. To give us a background on who we are, we're founded in Melbourne, Australia. We're publicly listed, manufacturing facilities across China, Indonesia, and Australia. Now over 15 to 16 gigawatts worldwide installations. The number one panel brand in Australia and New Zealand, and in the top 5 in China. Primarily across the world, we are a manufacturer, and we provide our products through a global distribution service. However, within China specifically, we do have EPC services, PPA, a PPA division, and also contract manufacturing. And just recently this year, we have now officially come into the larger building market with our cable trays and accessories. In terms of where we are globally, this is actually a little bit dated because in the last 2 months we have expanded to not only the distributors you see there, but also in Ireland, Romania, and now South Africa, and now as well as our latest addition in Dubai, which I'll show you guys later. Some of our teams based here in Australia, we're a fairly large bunch with sales, engineering divisions, product development teams, all across, large teams across Australia, China, and in Japan. In terms of our product lines, with what I wanted to talk about today, we've got our two main ones, PV Easy Rack and also Runner. I'll dive into them today. Provided that this session is purely about utility, I'll go into detail for the utility products, but I'll skim over some of the other ones that are for roof mounting and such. So we've got almost 5 categories for roof products, ground mounting. For solar terrace, we've got our easy tracking systems, Cleanergy Hollywood, which is a pure black roof mounting series, and then various ground structures for carports and post mounts. When it comes to roof mounts, whether it's penetrative, non-penetrative, tile roofs, flat roofs, we cover the lot. When it comes to tin roofs and clip lock clamps, we've got a very, very large variety. And when you've got flat or very low pitch roofs, we've got a large plethora of choices, from adjustable tilts to singular tripods to double tripods, and our new commercial tilt or the ComT 2.0, which is a new system that can either be concrete on concrete roofs through hanger bolts or roof screws. Yeah. With concrete roofs, we also have ballast systems, if that's one of the choices that you're looking for. And then when you've got all the various clamps that's available. So, for example, if you look at non-penetrative clamps on the far left, now that particular clamp is very specific to a specific type of roof, whereas we have also created a universal clip lock clamp, which can affix itself to almost 14 to about 16 different types of roof types as a non-penetrative option. And then, as you normally would see with a lot of various applications, we have a regular L-foot. When it comes to clip lock clamps, there's, again, a large variety. I'm just showing you a few here, and then our standard clamps there with our mid and end clamps. When it comes to the utility side, so we've got a couple of options for fixed tilts. So we've got Solar Terrace 2, which is a single post. Solar Terrace 3, where you've got for additional stability, it's got 2 posts, and then we've also got Solar Terrace 5, which that is a very custom-made, engineered product, whereas Solar Terrace 2 and 3 are pretty much off the shelf. With all of these variations, they also come in different materials. So if you're looking for aluminium or steel, or even what we call as a matte finish, which is a magnesium zinc aluminium alloy, to give that extra durability for long-term corrosion issues. I thought I'll just give you a quick review here on a ground mount solution and one of the installers.
This is why we went the ground mount, and I'm really happy with it, really love it.
On this project, we've decided to use the Solar Terrace 2, which is a really good rigid rate solution for ground mount, and the support that we've got from Cleanergy all throughout the whole process of installing this one, as far as engineering, design, tech support, know-how, setup, degrees, is just next level. Cleanergy has just been fantastic with helping out on that, and they've got the best engineering that we can find in Australia that we've come across, and that's why I've always been super happy to use Cleanergy.
Nice. Just to check, Meenakshi, you were able to hear that?
Yes, we will.
Cool. Thank you. So when it comes to tracking solutions, we also have another couple of choices there, whether you're going for a portrait, a single panel, double panel in the middle, 2 panels in portrait form, or if you're looking for that extra in terms of a smart AI softwares that help increase your productivity. Again, a lot of this can be customized. Let me just give you basics on this little project. So here what we have is a project in Xinjiang, China. The construction was around about September 2020, and I think it was finally commissioned in December 2020, so about 3 months there. and it's about 510 million kilowatts annually. The total scale of this total project is about 600 megawatts, and it's divided across 7 sites. But one specific site is about 293 megawatts, which is purely a fixed tilt, tilt angle, horizontal, single axis mounting system from our Easy Tracker range. Yeah. Beautiful. When it comes to ground structures, we have carports for single, double bay. What you see there on the far left is Easy Shade 2.0, which with side beams. We also have Easy Shade Razor, which is a singular beam on the far top end. That is an engineered product, so it's custom made, and there's no side structure, so it's easy to get in and out of cars. And on the far right, you've got our post mount series, and that comes in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 variation of how many panels it can lift up. And it also does regular size panels as well as the larger size panels. In terms of global installations, we have a large variety. I thought I'll just give you 1 or 2 here. 63 megawatts there in Germany, 1.2 on rooftop installed there in the States. All across Southeast Asia, in the Philippines, Vietnam, Thailand. And then we do a fair amount of work there in Japan. Japan is one of those interesting countries where there's not much of flat land. And so we do custom mounting gears up on actual mountains and hilly ranges, all through 3D topographical mapping with drones. In terms of our second series, which is the Runner product, which is a quite good little complementary product to our Easy Rack range. And that is basically cable tray systems with also finishes specifically for solar. So you can, as you can see, it's actually got the words solar, DC, or warning on the embossed onto the covers there, because typically what we have seen globally, a lot of installation companies, they would have to paint it on or use stickers. But in the larger scheme of things, 2-3 years later, those are all going to rub off. So we might as well just get them all embossed onto the covers. And we also have our empty cable tray for skinnier cables. And it obviously comes with a range of accessories. Just to show you what all it can do. You can basically where it can go upwards, downwards, split into all various directions. It's pretty versatile. In terms of us as a company, environmental social governance is a very important part of who we are. And you can see our CEO there in the top right-hand side. He's a very proactive individual on making sure that all employees have a very good work-life balance. And that is across all of our offices globally. We do give a lot back to the community. For example, for the last 12 years, we've been a massive partner for the It's Time Foundation, and they provide a modern education to remote schools on islands across the Pacific, which is now about, let's say, about 30 schools who have got ground mount solar systems with 24/7 power with batteries. We also promote a lot of various solar car student groups across the various car racing challenges. Recently now with Monash University and their Formula Student EV. In terms of online, we have a massive presence with podcasts and panel discussions with panel companies, inverter brands, a lot of key stakeholders within the various associations globally. I invite you all to jump onto our various channels and check them out. And specifically for the Middle East region, if you are looking for one of our distributors, jump onto clenergy.com/distributors, go into the filter and click Middle East, and then you'll get our partner there, Power and Sun Solar Trading Equipments, based there in Dubai. If you want to keep in touch with everything that we're doing at Clenergy, jump onto our newsletter, which is called the Clenergy Chronicle. And definitely connect with us. We're across all social channels. And if you want to email us, sales@clenergy.com. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for the insightful presentation, Mr. Sameer. Now we have our next presentation by Ms. Noha Albana from Alex Firm.
Miss Noha, are you there with us?
Priyanshi, she'll be presenting from Mr. Amma Fatala's ID.
Okay. Sure.
Allow us a moment. We're figuring out how we can get Noha's presentation up on the screen. While we're trying to figure this out, we will have Miss Noha present from Alex Firm. We will begin the panel discussion without any further ado. Let me introduce our panelists for the panel discussion: structural engineering trends and latest advancements in tracker-based mounting structures for utility solar projects. And to discuss this, we have in the panel with us Mr. Sameer Zawayede, carbon markets national expert. He's also the moderator. Mr. Amar Yasir from Alex Firm, Mr. Douglas Lee, Clenergy, Mr. Harshal Akhori from Strola, Mr. Ahmed Ziada, Danway Electrical and Mechanical Engineering, and Ms. Suad Al Matar from NEPCO. Mr. Sameer, over to you.
Thank you very much, Meenakshi, for your wonderful efforts and coordination of the event. Big thanks to our esteemed Platinum partners who are sponsoring this event. We start with Mr. Ammar Yasser. Mr. Ammar, are you with us?
Yes, totally. I can hear you well.
Excellent. Mr. Ammar is head of solar department at Alex Form. And Alex Form is one of the pioneering companies in industry in Egypt and in the Middle East. I know them since the past 12 years, maybe. They were established 63 years ago. They started with the trade of steel structure and hot roll profiles, then called formed sections and manufacture of sandwich panels. And then they are now a big symbol of Egyptian companies in the global markets. Mr. Ammar, it's really a pleasure to be among you today, and we like to hear more about your new products in solar. Maybe you can tell us about how the structure stability is ensured in areas with higher wind speeds. Over to you, Mr. Ammar.
Yes, this could be achieved by doing a good structural analysis by using the right wind speed and parameters according to the studied terrain. Also, at Alex Form, we believe in continuous development, and we do more than structural analysis by investing in new profiles and new products with more inertia and more strength to resist the applied load on structure with more strength and lighter weight. Also, you can check these innovative products and profiles on our company website.
Okay, this is very interesting. In steel structure, it depends on the wind, and the new product, which is solar PV, is mainly let's say, electricity or energy generating product. So sometimes the sales engineers start talking about the price of kilowatt peak, and the salespeople and the companies start bargaining about this kilowatt peak, whereas really the price there is a variation between location. So, can you tell us about the topography? For example, in Egypt, you have mountains, very high mountains with snow load and wind load, heavy wind load, and then you have maybe flatlands near the sea without so much wind load. And the difference, for example, can you give us a little bit the idea about the difference in weight in the structure that must be installed in each area? Over to you, Mr. Ammar.
Yes, this also could be achieved by a good study to the terrain that we are applying our tracker or mounting structure. By studying the high wind speed, there is a classification for each part of the country to get the max wind speed for it, and special parameter for each part according to the terrain, according to the other loads. In Egypt, we don't face usually snow loads. The main load in Egypt is always the wind load. PV panel is getting bigger and bigger every year. A good study for the terrain, a good study for the wind speed, for the environmental classification, for corrosion, helps us to choose the right material, the right study, the right design for each terrain and each environmental case.
Oh, yeah, it's very interesting that you mentioned the salt, because there are you have areas also near the sea. There's a lot of areas near the sea, and you have corrosion. So how are you ensuring the quality of structure in view, of course, in the bid and the wars, let's say, on low cost of kilowatt peak? Over to you, Mr. Ahmad.
Okay, you need to always connect the price with the quality. So in order to do that, you have to select your supplier carefully with less outsourcing process, so you can decrease the overhead cost on your product. Also, in a big entity, they have a strong procurement team, so they can get the high quality material with a lower price. This helps us to achieve the equation of price and quality. Also, internally, you have to choose the quality team with high level and to be independent and doesn't follow any other departments except the top management of the company also. Also, you need to verify that the supplier provides all certificates and all quality control process perfectly.
Very good, very good, excellent. Okay, my last question will be about the types of tracker systems available for utility scale projects. Can you tell us about the types of tracker systems? Thank you. Over to you.
Yes, it depends on many things. If we are talking about the two portrait or one portrait tracker, we can also classify it according to the mechanism of rotation. It could be mechanical by using hydraulic arms to rotate the whole system, or electrical to use the DC motors to rotate the whole axis. And also there is classification according to the axis rotation. There is single axis rotation and dual axis rotation tracker.
Very interesting. And how about the maintenance requirements or the inspections requirements on each type of tracker system? Are there any best practices? Over to you.
Yes, we actually do a site visit after every implementation of project to check if everything is connected very well, if the material has no scratches on the surface, there is no any defected parts already installed, and if there is anything like this, we have to replace this material with another one to ensure that the tracker will achieve the lifetime of the project, and also to give a warranty for the whole structure.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Ammar. It was fantastic listening to your advice and answers. I'm sure if, we will come back to you with our listeners' questions at the end of this panel. Mr. Douglas Lee, are you with us? Excellent. Hello, Mr. Douglas.
Hello, Mr. Summer. Hi, how are you?
Excellent.
Good to
Mr.
know you
Douglas,
here.
yeah, Mr. Douglas Lee is the regional manager of clean energy in the Middle East and North African MENA region,
Yep, yes,
with more
correct.
than 5 years experience in the solar energy. Lee is a subject matter expert and a specialist in solar tracker systems. And also, as we saw, that clean energy is leading the Southeast Asian solar tracker market with whopping 90% of the market share. This is amazing, really. And we
Yes.
are very lucky to have you with us, Mr. Douglas.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'd like to ask you the same question about the structural stability ensured in areas of high wind speeds. Can you tell us a little bit about your best practices? Over to you.
Sorry, can you come again?
The question is about the structural stability in areas with high wind speed. How do you
Okay.
ensure structural stability?
Okay. Okay. It's up to the five factors. The first one is the foundation. It's up to the foundation. The geotechnics, such as the geotechnical information, and after the first we check the foundation, they will expand the post section. For example, in the normal scenario, normally we use the C steel as a foundation, but for the higher wind speed the project, we expand the foundation to be H post. Okay, okay, we adopt the multi-point driving device and the high-strength steel structure to improve the current frequency of the system. and print the damage of the strong wind. This is the third one. And okay, we also do the wind tunnel test stability study for the tracker. For example, for the 1P one portrait tracker, we work with the Walker German library to give the wind tunnel test report. For the two portrait tracker, we work with RWDI Canada. We've done the study in last year. Then the last is we use it's up to the layout. So normally the customer will give their own layout, but for the higher wind speed scenario, we will suggest a better layout to give the customer to let the whole mounting structure system to prevent the wind speed. That's all. Thank you.
Very interesting. Thank you very much for your best practices.
Thank you.
I have another question regarding the type of tracker system. How can the right tracker system enhance the output of the solar project? Over to you.
Okay. How the right tractor to enhance the output of solar project?
Yes.
Okay. You know, I'm responsible for the Middle East and North Africa. So first one, we use the AI tracking system. We will integrate the cleaning robot in our tracker to clean the panel to increase the power generation as more as for our customer. This first one. The second one, we increase the system operating wind speed. Okay. The third one is that we will put the AI intelligence calculation in our control box and the communication box. We use the three ways to enhance output of the solar project. That's all.
Okay. Yeah, but what do you mean by AI? What is the definition of AI for you?
Such as the cloudy, you know, in the cloudy weather and the non-cloudy weather, it's different. So, such as today it's a cloudy weather, we will give a cloudy AI, the intelligent calculator in the system. It will know. So today the weather, what is the weather today? Then we will give the different tracking intelligent today to increase the power generation. We've done some data in Asia Pacific and in China. So annually, we will give the 0.5% power generation. If we could give this AI calculation, the power generation will be increased to 0.5% as per our calculation and our report. I think it is very important and interesting for the customer in Middle East and Africa.
Very interesting. Okay. One more question. Can we apply the same tracker system across all terrains? Yes.
Yes.
No. Yeah. Go over to you.
Yes. And the slope adaptability of the calendar tracker is up to 20%, as per according to our global project experience. Because we've done more than 3 gigawatt tracker around the world, we have much report and experience, and especially our engineering experience. So the data is 20%. That's
Very
all,
interesting.
Mr. Summer.
Yes. We have some more time. I'd like to ask you one more question regarding the wind load in the open terrain. It is different on the edges and in the middle. So are you using the same structure for the solar tracker in the edges and in the middle?
Sorry, can you come again? You mean the different engine.
Yeah, the question is about the wind load is different from the edges. On the edges is different than in the middle. So when you are designing a solar field, you are using the same tracker in all over the field, or it is different trackers on the same site?
Actually, it's different, but it's based on one model.
Okay.
As I talked with you, we have two standard models. The one portrait is from the Waker Germany office. The portrait is from the RWDI Canada office. So we have two standard model. Then for the different projects, different wind speed, different snow load, we will give different structures, different track structures to give the best power generation.
If I may intervene, this is Samir here from Clenergy as well. Douglas, I just wanted to ask, just to reiterate Samir's question, on maybe the edges where wind load is more, do we use more rails, for example, or more clamping zones?
Yeah.
Yes. So, I mean, just to, I guess, I can just answer it for Douglas, but basically, on the edges where you probably would have a higher wind load, depending on the panel size, panel thickness, where we're looking at adding probably a third rail or potentially more clamps on. So it also depends on obviously the technical specifications from the panel manufacturer. But yeah, that's some of the considerations that we put in.
Thank you, Samir, for jumping in and supporting the answers. Thank you very much. Now we go to Mr. Harshal from India. Mr. Harshal, you are with us, right?
I'm so sorry to interrupt. Miss Noha will be presenting from Mr. Amar's device. So I would request Miss Noha to kindly give the presentation, and then we can continue with the panel discussion, sir.
No worries.
Of course, of course.
Okay, thank you. Miss Noha, please share your screen. Miss Noha, are you with us now?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So I'm sharing my screen now. Can you see my screen?
Yes,
we
we
can.
can.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Noha Albanna from Alex Form's team. I'm mainly the exporter to the solar department for a technical sales team. Here we go. We can start with our presentation, and it's my pleasure to meet you all. Okay, so roughly this is our agenda. We will be going through some topics rapidly to introduce you our company. Those are our founders. We went through 3 generations. It's a family business, so now we are in the 3rd one. Our CEO now is Mr. Magdi Hosni Khalil, and for Alex Form Group and for Alex Steel, which is our company sister, there is Mr. Mamdouh Hosni, it's CEO again. Okay, going through the timeline of Alex Form, we started from 59 till now, and for Khulafa Abdel Naim, we started from trading till manufacturing. We in this facility we are doing the trading for IP sections and standard sections as well. Okay. And then in 1990, we started our facility of Alex Steel, which we are talked about earlier. This facility is mainly doing the heavy structure items, like the components of bridges and so on. So any heavy structures project went through this facility. In 1997 we started the business of Alex Profile. This facility is mainly specialized for the corrugated sheets, for trapezoidal and sinusoidal sheets with a thin cladding single sheets steel. And in 2000, here comes the one who are especially manufacturing in all our main products. Alex Form. Alex Form is is a facility who is doing all the cold formed sections with the different profiles and very different ranges. Ranges of thicknesses, and also a big variety of punching tools. In 2015, we joined to the group Alex Panel. This factory is the longest of its kind in the Middle East. We are supplying sandwich panel items till the 16-meter long. And now we are opening another branch for Alex Panel in El Sukhna. It's nearly will be launched with two different and two new product lines. Okay, and here is our hero for the day. In 2020, we joined to the group also Alex Solar, similarly working like Alex Form, but with very specialized tools and very specialized sections for the solar sector, and also a very wide range of punching tools, more than Alex Form. Okay, as you can see, we have a footprints all over the world, about more than 20 countries. That one is not updated as well, but I think we reached 30 countries till now. Mainly, we have a good footprints as solar team, especially in Europe and in Africa too. Latin America in the latest date. Okay, so talking about the product categories, um, we have a variety of products. As we said in Khulafat, we are trading the IPEs and the standard profiles. And for Alex Form groups, we have four main categories: the cold format sections and the cladding single sheets, the steel decking, and also the sandwich panels. In this session, we will be focusing on the cold format sections. This is the main topic for the tracker suppliers, and that's how we can show you our capability of joining this market too. Okay. You can see a variety of cold format sections with different sections. Everything here is customized upon our customer requirement. We can go in Alex Form onto two scenarios of working. So we can have our design that made in here in house based on the project requirements and the data we have from our client, and then manufacturing it through our lines, forming lines, and also bending machines if it's needed to be done. And the second scenario, that you have your own design as a client, and you can give us the shop drawings which we can follow to manufacture your requirements. And as we have a very good variety of sections, everything is customized. Nothing is standard in Alex Form. Rapidly, our thicknesses can range from 0.5 till 5 millimeter, and everything, as I said, is customized. You can feel free to just imagine, and we can do it real. Okay, for the certificates, as a solar, as sandwich panels, and you will be facing this into particular way in the second session too. We are FM approved. I will let that to be specific in the second one. And for talking about the code format sections, which we noticed that the market is always required to have a specific requirements each year. keening on that. We are always investing in our new rollers and the new machinery to keep updated. And also, we are doing everything as hard as we can to let our clients feel they have an innovating system, a particular way with a very high strength materials and profiles, so they keep enhancing their design in another way, and creative. And that's why we always are keen to join to the group new certificates that make you feeling comfortable that everything is being produced on the standards you want. So the CE mark we got last year, and sure it's updated every year, as you know. So in Annex Form, we are producing everything for the code sections under the standard of EN 1090. And for the ISO as well, we are safety and health management certified, and environmental certified, and quality management certified. We got the three ISOs, as you can see. Okay, going to the solar mounting structures. Form can provide a variety of kinds for the categories you can ask for. Kinds for ground mounting, and rooftop. So the ground mounting, you can see a variety of. We can do it for a concrete base as designs. As you are requiring a base for a single post or double post. As we said, I think that is standard. Everything's customized. Okay, for the ramming too, we are doing ramming structures, also double or single posts. For the trackers, here in Annex Form, we are not structures designs. We are just supplying a component for the tracker suppliers. And that's again the solar carports. We have different designs. You can you need if it is it single car or the car channels, and then we can go through the design from a structure and architecture way. Okay, coming to important for solars, the material, because we are all clusters fit for a lifetime reaching only up to 20-25 years and so on. So keening from us to our client to have the less maintenance he can do through this. We have a variety of materials that can be area or the location of its project. So we have the material ranging from the material. So it depends on your requirement. Nothing is rough information about the magnolus. This material is containing zinc, magnesium, and aluminium with different ranges. And as long as you are coming up with a new magnesium percent, you are facing a better behavior to the steel you have. And that's why we are doing most of our projects with the material. And rapidly here you can see the peeling, and that ensure that no rust can be done for a long time on the warranty you have. Thank you so much for so time and project. Thanks to doing this.
Thank you for the insightful presentation, Noha. Mr. Samir, you can take the panel discussion forward.
Thank you very much. We will come back to Mr. Harshal. Are you with us, Mr. Harshal?
Yes, I am.
Of
How
course.
are you?
Excellent. Let me introduce Mr. Harshal is the co-founding director of Stroller Mounting Structure, India's second largest mounting structure in 2021, according to the MERCOM, with 3.7 gigawatt in supplies in India and overseas. He looks after the business and strategic development in at Stroller, and we will hear from him about the policy framework and insights of the metal industry affecting solar in the current and future times. It's great to have you with us. Really, we're very proud of the metal manufacturing in India and all the advancement that has been done in the this field, especially solar trackers.
Thank you.
Can you tell us about the types of substructures utilized in utility scale projects? Over to you.
Yes. So, not confining us to what we do, right? I would like to tell you about two types of substructures that are deployed in the global market. The one type is the fixed tilt, which we all know about, and the other one is the trackers, right? Now, when it comes to trackers, there are primarily two types of trackers. One is the dual axis trackers, and the other one is the single axis tracker. Dual axis tracker is something that is very limited, and there are very less companies that are developing or researching in it over the past couple of years now, right? Now comes to the optimizing on the single axis trackers, because the modules have gotten higher and it will still continue to be bigger and better, right? So when you talk about trackers, there are centralized trackers with push and pull mechanism, right? Like the companies like Trina and Scorpius have developed. And the other one, which is a centralized tracker, is that the rotary line drive that they have for the trackers. Then it comes with the decentralized trackers that are self-powered. One is self-powered with their auxiliary modules that you see, and the other one is self-powered from the array itself, right? So these are broadly what you can classify the tracker types in the market basis of their functionality. Now there are multiple USPs of each and every other company that they're producing, which makes them different from the other. But majorly, everybody is working on the centralized type of systems, and the other one is the decentralized type of the system, right?
Amazing. Yes, thank you very much. And I'm sure that there are different types of material and different sizes. Another question: how are we ensuring the quality of the structures in view of the fierce competition between suppliers to drop the prices? Over to you.
Yes, standardization is something which is very important, right? When you standardize the system, I heard you speaking with Amar, right? Amar Yasser, wherein you talk about larger projects, obviously, where you can procure material at a better scale, right? But what about the small projects like a 500, 600 kilowatt project, maybe a megawatt, right? You cannot have the critical components ruining the structure for you, right? Critical as in your clamps and everything, right? So standardization is the key to the system. You design a system that is as per the American code, the European code, and wherever your supply demand is. And when you're focusing on the designing, you design a system that has a similar accessory system that makes your procurement, whether it is for a multi-megawatt project or for a small kilowatt project, right? The quality of the system is ensured, whether it is a small or the larger components, right? Second thing is that the prices obviously are reducing every day, and tariffs across the globe is substantially going to reduce, right? So you can bring new materials, research from what other industries are using for a similar application. Like we've seen ZAM material being introduced in the market approximately half a decade ago, right? And that has been utilized in the mature markets of the solar economy, right? The same is should be and can be applicable to the growing market, as far as I believe, right? So that will not only cut cost in terms of, because these are high tensile materials, they have better edge over the standardized system that were being utilized when you take hot dip galvanized system, which is expensive, manpower consuming, and with respect to azam material, which has a better protection cover, right? Obviously there are different types of ZAM materials that are protected against the categories of corrosion, whether it is C5 M or maybe C3 as your general requirement. So I think standardization, in summary, I'll like to tell you some standardization, whether it is for a utility or a small project, new materials, and focusing on the critical components of the entire system, I think can bring quality systems and still can be maintained over a decades time.
Thank you very much. And I want to just follow up on the matter of quality. There are international certifications like the IEC and the UL. Are you providing products complying with these IEC and UL certifications, either or both?
Right. So our factories are complied with IS, which is Indian standard for quality, EHS, and everything else. Right. And for the products, right, we are getting UL certifications, and that is obviously for the global market. Right. Individual certifications with respect to the projects are definitely done by the third party agencies employed by the client side for the larger projects. And I think that is something we are currently working on in order to uh, bring a more holistic and a global approach to uh, to the Indian economy, whether in terms of that, right? Speaking of which, Stolar is in discussion with a lot of the other European manufacturers for trackers, right? For the factory validation, right? So wherein these European companies can manufacture from India, and India is in the coming 3 or 4 years time will be will be rubbing shoulders with one of the leaders, like China, in terms of manufacturing, right? So that process has already started approximately a year ago, whether it is with us and with the other companies, right? Because India has slowly becoming market manufacturing hub in the recent time, and the government schemes and everything is very promising. That looks very promising, into the working.
Yes, I'm sure the Indian market is huge, and the quality is very important because these systems will have to stay for 25 or 30 years. So
Absolutely.
quality.
I mean, India is a market where you can get very cheap labor. You can have cost-effective technical people, and manpower and technical standalone technologies can help prosper. Everything. I mean, the European people can enjoy good costs, wherein the Indian companies can enjoy mass manufacturing.
Excellent. We talked about the wind speeds and different areas. Is there anything else you like to add?
Design analysis, for higher wind speed is something which is a must, right? So when we talk about design analysis, it is both static and dynamic, right? I heard you speaking about, the protecting the winds, because it is towards the outside, the wind gust is higher, and in the inner periphery, the design is obviously, I mean, the modules face lesser forces, right? So you work out on your triangular and rectangular loading, work out on the eccentricity. These are all technical words that the design teams across, not only in our company but across the world, are deploying, right? So that is something which is very important when you are in the phase of designing a utility scale solar park, right? And then once your design is done, that is validated by the customer, there should be a legitimate third party agency also validating the product, because you do not have that kind of time for wind tunnel analysis of the system. Let's say if you're doing a 200 or 250 megawatt project, right, it's a single size project and you have to custom design the entire system, right? So a legitimate third party can bring a lot of good, right? And that can work out very very effective in the long run, because mounting structures are hardly 7% of the total cost, but they bear the weight of the most expensive part, which is the module, right? So it is very important to have all your design checks done, whether it is dynamic or static, right?
Okay, thank you very much. Amazing.
Samir, do you mind if
Yes.
I just actually add on here as well? Because Harshal, I'm actually really glad that you mentioned design, because when you look at panels or inverters or batteries, all of which is electrical engineering, right? And you go by your TUV standards and all those kind of certifications. When it comes to mounting, a lot of projects, I mean, you would have seen this as well, where people sometimes discount the whole design phase is a civil engineering project, right? So we have teams, you probably have the same, where there are a large number of people sitting across all these blueprints and CAD drawings and whatnot, and finally getting junior civil engineers, and then it has to go to a senior civil engineer to do a final sign off, because only then the whichever area or precinct or council or corporation that you're applying to will finally give you a permit to then assemble your mounting gear. So I just want to make it very clear that design is so important, and I'm glad that you mentioned it.
I
Thank you,
mean,
Samir.
Samir, what is important is that we, as stakeholders uh, 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 managing, the most critical part of a solar plant, we should also have, because the customer may or may not know, right? Let's say if you're working in, let's say, Dubai, right? So Deva may or not have, understanding of the entire system, but we should have it as our own responsibility in getting the systems checked, so that it should not be a threatening, life threatening or other situations, right?
Thank you, Arshal. Thank you, Samir. Amazing opportunities lie ahead. Mr. Ahmed Zaida. Mr. Ahmed, are you with us?
Yes, Mr. Samir, I'm here. Yeah.
Ahlan wa sahlan. Mr. Ahmed is the senior solar engineer from Danaway Electrical and Mechanical Engineering. Mr. Ahmed, I don't have a short bio of you, but I'm sure that you are an incredible engineer because you are in a senior position.
Thank you.
Can you tell us about your projects and a little bit about the solar tractor that you are using?
Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I know that you have a very short time, so I will make it very brief for both of us. Uh, for me, in Danway, we finished already around 50 megawatt in Togo using tracking systems. We have, based on success of this project, we have another 20 megawatt added to the same project. Along with that, we have a pipeline of 100 megawatt of tracking projects coming in Africa, Djibouti, Uganda, Ivory Coast. Along with that, also we have some projects in Saudi Arabia. Small projects, we talk about 6 megawatt and two projects of 15 megawatts, something like that, distributed all over Saudi Arabia. So based on that, most of the projects that we are dealing is coming with tracking systems. And thanks for Samira and Harshal for their information and inputs about the importance of doing proper design, because we face a lot of problems, especially with the trackers. The trackers is totally different than fixed structures, as people here know. And part of our project, part of our work, is to make sure that we avoid the problems that we are facing. And this is the main thing that we are making with all our suppliers. We provide them with day-to-day problems that we are facing, and make sure that both of us working on not R&D but working on how to avoid these problems in next design and so on. So I think from 2019, from the 50 megawatt project at the beginning, we find the problems, for example, in ramming. Okay, guys, no need for ramming, go for piling. Based on what? Based on geotechnical study. What in geotechnical study we need to observe, to read, to make sure that this is the right decision. So this was first problem. Then we go to the following up problems till the point of wind, the wind effect. Wind effect, it's not only about taking the panels out of the structure, but we found that there is problems coming in the stability of the plant. You mentioned 2 points. The impact of tracker system in the LCOE, which is a huge. If we go to the cost of the tracking system in the capex, it's very small. Honestly, I will be very frank with you. We talk about how much? 7 cents, 8 cents, 9 cents. But for the LCE impact for the generation that expected, and if with any fail, with every fail coming with the tracker, there is a huge problems coming out of the tracker. That's why a proper design, not a proper design, a perfect design for trackers has to be put in our mindset. That's why in that way, alhamdulillah, with this experience that we collect all over the years, for me and for my team, we now make sure that choosing of the tracker as one is the same important of choosing the PV module.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you very much, Mr. Ahmed. I will go back to you with another question, but I have to make sure that Ms. Suad is here. Is Suad with us? Uh,
Mr. Kamil, unfortunately, we don't have Ms. Suad with us.
Okay, then we continue with Mr. Ahmed, and I will ask him a question. Mr. Ahmed, you gave us a fantastic, view of your experience. Now, assuming that you want to design a new solar tracking system, what are the top three best practices you will ensure that you will have on this project?
First of all, a very proper geotechnical study to know exactly what will be your civil works, what will be your first thing, piling, rams, ramming, how it will be. It will be anchor bolts. This is the main thing, because this is, I think it's around 50% of your cost coming in the civil works. Second thing of tracking system is to make sure that you are choosing the right parameters. When I say parameters, you are choosing the right angle, the right pitch, the right length, the right actuator. And here coming to the third point, not the material. Of course, most of the people will focus on the material, and at the end of the day, you'll find, with respect to all manufacturers, they are using the same material, almost same material. There is no patent in the mounting structure, but major thing coming in the actuators, because actuators, it's a nightmare. Okay, because of the maintenance cost, because of a lot of problems that will happen on this one, because of communication. And here coming to I will add one more point to the fourth point, to the 2 or 3 points that you mentioned, is the monitoring system. How to make sure that your system is connected to the SCADA system and will observe it by the whole plant. So the operation and maintenance team will make your life and the developer life easier.
Very good, excellent. Thank you very much, Mr. Ahmed. Probably we will come back with a few questions, depending on the number of questions that we receive from the audience, from the attendees. Over to you, Meenakshi. Can you give us the questions that the attendees have for the panelists.
Right. So I'm going to show that on stage, and you can take it forward from there.
Thank you. The first question is, I want to know the tentative apex per megawatt peak cost of mounting structure with single axis tracker as well as fixed tilt. We go to our panelists. Anybody like to answer this question? Mr. Harshal or Mr. Samir?
I would like to take this up.
Yes,
See,
please. Over to you.
this is a very subjective question depending on the capacity of the module, whether it is higher rated module, let's say a 500 watt peak. Considering a 500 watt peak, your fixed tilt system should not weigh more than 20 tons per megawatt at 170 kilometers per hour wind speed at 20 degrees fixed tilt, right? And let's say if the same system is applied for different kind of tracker, single axis tracker, so there are again different kinds of mechanism for you can have your slew drive mechanism and stuff, right? So system can very well for a 500 watt peak module at whatever zone at 170 zone, it can range from 40 tons to 51 to 52 tons per megawatt. That totally depends on the company's configuration and how the drive mechanism is, if that is something that is sufficient to the question provider, Mr. Bhagirath.
Thank you very much, Mr. Harshal. I'd like to add, for all the attendees, on behalf of the panelists, this comparison per kilowatt peak, the prices is really dependent on the area where it is located, according the height above sea level. So the higher you are above sea level, the more wind load, the more snow load you have.
Absolutely.
And then the heavier the structure will be. So in any single country, for example, in India or in Australia or in UAE, you cannot just say that the price of kilowatt peak is X. It depends.
Absolutely.
So
I mean, this is totally an open-ended question because there was no wattage mentioned, no wind speed, no height from the ground, right? No proximity from the sea, because if you're choosing a different kind of a material, then the weight increases, right? This was a ballpark estimation. Obviously, this can further increase or further reduce depending on whatever the requirement is.
Thank you very much.
100%.
And actually, well, let's wait, Samir. Actually, probably we have another question.
Yes, we'll take
Go
this one question and wrap this session. Now we're running short of time.
Sure. What is the control system you use to rotate PV panels? Mr. Samir, you like to answer this question?
I'll probably defer this question to Douglas. He's probably more the technical manager than myself.
Okay.
Douglas, if you're here,
Douglas?
if you can answer that question. The control system.
Yes. Hello. Yes. We use a slow drive motor to drive the panel.
Slow drive motor.
Yes, slow
Okay.
drive.
That's very quick answer. Excellent.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Actually, you have some more time, or you would like to wrap up?
We'll thank all the panelists, this esteemed panel, for this wonderful session, and a very special thanks to you, Samir sir, for superbly managing the session. The show is not over yet. We are taking a short networking break, and we'll be back with another exciting session in just 10 minutes. Till then, explore our networking lounge, network with your peers, and join our sponsor on the networking tables. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Have a nice day.
Thank you. We'll see you at the next session.